You are too available, too predictable, too common. And because of that, you are overlooked, underestimated, and easily forgotten. But when you master scarcity, every word you speak becomes important. Every moment in your presence becomes precious, and every absence makes them hunger for your return. In this life, power is not taken by force alone. It is stolen from the mind of others. To make men follow you, to make women desire you, to make rivals fear you, you must learn the art of scarcity. For what is scarce is valuable, and what is valuable is desired. Today, I will give you 5 laws. Laws that will make people not merely like you, but obsessed with you. In the marketplace of human attention, abundance breeds indifference. If gold lay scattered across the streets, men would step over it as though it were stone. The same is true for your presence. If you are always there, always visible, always reachable, then you become like the air, essential, yes, but ignored. You must understand, my friend, that what is scarce is treasured, and what is constant is discarded without thought. This is why kings are not seen every hour in the market square. This is why the wise man controls his appearances, as a merchant controls the flow of rare spices. When you are always present, you become predictable. They know your face will be there tomorrow, your voice will be ready to answer, your hand will always be extended. There is no urgency, no fear of loss. And without the fear of losing something, people do not value it. They think they have all the time in the world to speak to you, to be with you, to hear your thoughts. And so they do not rush, they do not care, they do not hold on tightly. This is the death of influence. Disappearance, however, is a powerful poison, but in the right dose, it becomes a cure. When you step back, when you suddenly remove yourself from the familiar stage of their lives, you create a void. That void whispers questions into their minds. Where did he go? Why is he silent? Has something changed? The more they do not know, the more they will want to know. And the more they want to know, the more they will watch for your return. I do not speak of cowardly retreat. I speak of deliberate absence. An absence calculated to breed demand. The great generals of history never allowed their armies to fight every day. They preserved their forces, waiting for the moment of maximum advantage. So too must you preserve your presence. Leave before you are forgotten. Leave before your image fades in their eyes. Leave while they still hunger for you. Think of the lover who is too eager, too present, too available. At first, the attention is flattering, but soon it becomes suffocating. The mystery dies. The excitement fades, the interest withers. Yet when a lover disappears for a time, the heart begins to beat faster at the memory of them. Imagination paints them in brighter colors than reality ever could. You become larger in their minds during your absence than you ever could be by standing constantly in front of them. This principle applies to every field of human interaction: love, business, friendship, politics. The ruler who is always on the streets becomes a mere man among the people. The ruler who appears rarely, in moments of grandeur and strength, becomes a figure of legend. The merchant who offers his wares every day at the same price will soon find his goods gathering dust. But the merchant who opens his stall only on special days, with limited stock, will find crowds waiting before dawn. So vanish strategically. Leave gaps in your presence. Step back when you sense that you have been seen too often. Keep them wondering, keep them reaching. Keep them feeling that any moment you could disappear again. Your absence will become a weapon sharper than any word you could speak in your presence. If was the lie. And when you return, you will not return as the man they took for granted. You will return as the man they feared they had lost forever. Excess is the enemy of desire. When you give people more than they seek, you flood the senses, dull the appetite, and teach them to take you for granted. The human heart is a strange thing. It values most the thing it cannot fully grasp. When you hand over too much of yourself, your words, your time, your attention, you become like the river that overflows its banks, once feared for its scarcity, now ignored for its abundance. Most people believe that generosity, in endless supply, will win loyalty. They think that if they speak for hours, the listener will be grateful. That if they give all their time, others will feel indebted. That if they offer their skills without limit, others will admire them. But the truth is far colder. The more you give, the less it is worth. If a diamond is found on every street corner, it becomes glass. If a man is available at every hour, he becomes furniture. Instead, you must cultivate restraint. Give just enough to ignite hunger, but never enough to satisfy it. In conversation, let your words be measured, deliberate, and incomplete. Speak as though each sentence is a rare coin, not to be spent recklessly. Stop speaking when they lean forward for more. End the meeting when they still have questions. Step away when they still have need. This is how you make your presence a prize, not a commodity. Think of the storyteller who stops at the height of the tale. The crowd groans, they protest, they demand the ending. But it is precisely this lack that keeps the story alive in their minds. If the tale were finished, they would forget it by morning. The same is true of you. Leave space for imagination to work in your absence. Let them replay your words, your actions, your gestures in their minds. Let them wonder what else you might have said or done if you had stayed. In love, this law is deadly and irresistible. The man or woman who gives their partner constant affection, constant presence, constant reassurance, breeds complacency. But the one who gives it in measured doses, just enough to prove desire, yet not enough to remove all doubt, keeps the other endlessly chasing. Uncertainty is the fuel of obsession. When they are never entirely sure of your mind, they will work tirelessly to win your favor again and again. In politics, the same truth applies. The ruler who grants every request quickly loses power, for people come to see him as a servant, not a sovereign. The ruler who grants favors rarely and at the right moment creates a sense of privilege in those who receive them. When you make something scarce, your approval, your resources, your time, you elevate its worth beyond measure. Even in business, this law is absolute. The merchant who for the market with goods may profit briefly, but soon the abundance kills the hunger. Prices fall, excitement fades, the crowd disperses. The merchant who releases limited editions, who creates long waits, who offers fewer than the demand. This merchant controls not only the market but the minds of the buyers. Every interaction you have is a transaction of value, whether emotional, intellectual, or material. The art is to make them believe that your value is always slightly out of reach. This tension between what they have and what they still desire is what keeps them coming back again and again, until they are bound to you not by gratitude, but by an insatiable need you have created and refused to completely satisfy. Power is measured not in gold, not in armies, but in whose gaze you command and whose mind you occupy. Yet attention, like any rare treasure, loses its worth when it is given away without cost. Most people squander it recklessly, offering it to anyone who asks, listening to anyone who speaks, answering every call, replying to every message. And so they become common, predictable, unremarkable. You must be different. You must make your attention a prize so rare that men will fight to possess it and guard it with their lives once they have it. Understand this: human nature is built on struggle. What comes easily is dismissed. What is fought for is cherished. A man who climbs a mountain will value the view at the top far more than the man who was carried there. In the same way, when you make others work to gain your attention, they will hold it as something precious, something they dare not lose. This is not cruelty. It is strategy. By making people earn your gaze, you transform yourself from a common companion into a sought-after presence. The first step is to raise the threshold of entry. Do not give your time to everyone who seeks it. Let them prove their worth. Let them demonstrate loyalty, respect, or usefulness before you give them more than a passing glance. When someone knows they must first bring something of value to gain your ear, they will think more carefully about how they approach you, and they will work harder to maintain that access once they have it. Consider the way rulers of the past held court. The king was not found wandering the streets, eager to greet every passerby. No, he sat on his throne, distant, elevated, untouchable. Petitioners were made to wait, sometimes for days, just for a few moments in his presence. And when those moments came, they were treated as sacred. The very difficulty of gaining access made the king's attention a treasure. You must rule your own sphere the same way, no matter how small it may seem. In conversation, do not give away your full focus to those who have not earned it. Let them work to capture your interest. When they do, reward them with complete presence, but only briefly, only enough to make them crave more. The mind, once it has tasted such attention, will hunger for it again and again, and this hunger binds them to you. In love, the effect is even stronger, when someone must earn your interest. When they must step carefully, present their best self, and prove they are worthy of your time. They will attach a greater value to you than to the one who throws affection around like loose change. They will guard your attention fiercely, for they will know how easily it could be taken away. This tension between desire and uncertainty fuels an obsession that no constant availability could ever match. In business, the principle remains the same: a service, a product either. Anything that requires effort to reach is worth more in the eyes of the seeker. If anyone can have it instantly, its power dies. If only a select few gain access, its prestige grows beyond measure. This is why certain clubs, certain circles, certain positions in society are so sought after, not because of what they offer, but because of how hard they are to obtain. When you make people earn your attention, you transform every interaction into a prize to be won. You stop being a background presence in their lives and become a rare event, one that requires effort, strategy, and commitment to experience. And as long as they are striving to keep your gaze, they are playing your game, moving according to your rules, dancing to music only you control. Familiarity is the death of fascination. The more they know, the more they see behind the curtain, the more ordinary you become in their eyes. Once you are fully understood, you are fully consumed, and what is consumed is discarded. The human mind craves puzzles, thrives on questions, and obsesses over what it cannot fully grasp. If you wish to make people obsessed with you, you must become an enigma that refuses to be solved. A book with missing pages, a flame they cannot hold without burning themselves. When you reveal every thought, every feeling, every plan, you give away the only advantage you have, the advantage of uncertainty. People will measure you, label you, categorize you, and once you are labeled, you are no longer interesting. But if you reveal yourself in fragments, in glimpses, in moments that raise more questions than they answer, you will live in their minds long after you are gone. They will replay your words, searching for hidden meaning. They will interpret your actions through the lens of their own desire and fear. They will imagine the parts of you they cannot see. And in that imagination, they will build an image far greater than the reality. This does not mean you must be cold or distant in every interaction. It means you must master the art of selective revelation. Give them enough to feel close to you, but never enough to fully map your mind. Share a story, but leave out its ending. Give an answer, but not the whole truth. Smile in a way that makes them wonder what you are thinking. Let them feel as though they are slowly unlocking you, while in truth you are guiding them through a maze of your own design. Mystery has another power. It breeds respect. When people cannot predict you, they cannot control you. They tread carefully, they measure their words, they hesitate before making demands. You cease to be something they can take for granted, because they cannot quite be sure where you stand or what you might do next. Your unpredictability becomes a silent weapon, one that keeps others cautious and keeps you in a position of strength. Consider the leaders of history who held their power not just through force, but through the manipulation of perception. They were careful not to let anyone see their every weakness or know their every thought. They surrounded themselves with rituals, symbols, and layers of intrigue. People could not quite tell where the man ended and the legend began. That uncertainty kept them untouchable. You must do the same. Craft an image that is not entirely you, but is close enough to keep them guessing. In love, mystery is intoxicating. When you leave gaps in what you reveal, the other person will fill them with fantasies and projections. They will imagine qualities in you that you may or may not possess. Their mind will keep returning to the unanswered questions, replaying moments, seeking signs. Each time they fail to solve you, the obsession grows deeper, for the human spirit is stubborn in its need to understand what resists understanding. Even in business and social influence, mystery commands attention. The speaker who reveals every conclusion loses the crowd quickly. The one who hints, who implies, who lets the audience connect the final dots themselves, leaves them talking about the message for days. The leader who keeps some of their strategy hidden forces competitors to guess, waste energy, and remain on edge. To become a mystery they cannot solve is to make yourself unforgettable. You become more than a person. You become an idea, a question, a challenge that their mind cannot set down. And as long as they are trying to solve you, they are thinking of you, turning you over in their thoughts, unable to escape the pull of what they do not fully understand. Power is not simply about being seen, it is about when and how you choose to be seen. The greatest leaders, performers, and seducers in history have all understood one truth: presence is a performance, and timing is its most lethal weapon. Appear too often, and the magic fades. Appear too rarely, and they may forget you. The art lies in mastering the rhythm, arriving with force at the perfect moment, then vanishing before your light begins to dim. The human mind remembers moments of intensity. It does not care for the long, endless stretches of sameness. This is why the seasons change, why celebrations are not daily, why victories are rare. They are designed to be moments that stand out in memory. You must learn to make your presence like these rare moments: short, powerful, unforgettable. Enter the room at your peak, confident, composed, and commanding, and leave before the energy declines. When you go, they should still be wanting more, still replaying what they saw, still longing for your return. This is why scarcity and timing are inseparable. If you are always around, people stop noticing you, no matter how valuable you are. If you vanish too long, you risk being replaced in their minds. But if you control the rhythm, appearing unpredictably yet decisively, you make every appearance an event. They begin to associate you with significance, with impact. Your arrival changes the atmosphere, your departure leaves a void. Think of a great musician who does not play constantly, but instead builds anticipation. The pause before the next note is as important as the note itself. The silence makes the sound sweeter when it comes. You must be that musician. The silence of your absence will make your presence thunderous when you return. In love, controlling your rhythm is the difference between obsession and indifference. If you are too constant, the other person begins to take you for granted. But if you vanish too completely, their attention may wander. Instead, give them moments of deep connection, then withdraw. Let them miss you. Let them wonder when you will return. In that waiting, the longing grows stronger than the moments you are together. In politics, a leader who is always on display becomes too familiar and loses authority. The leader who appears rarely, surrounded by ceremony and strength, makes each sighting a reminder of their power. Their absence creates a sense of mystery. Their presence becomes a demonstration of control. When people cannot predict your movements, they are forced to remain alert, watching for signs of your next move. This keeps you in their thoughts even when you are not in the room. The same principle holds in business and influence. The brand that floods the market loses its aura of exclusivity, while the brand that releases products in limited bursts creates frenzy and desire. The public learns to pay attention when you appear, because your appearances signal that something important is about to happen. Mastering this rhythm requires self-restraint. You must fight the urge to always be visible, to always remind them of your existence. The temptation to remain in the spotlight will destroy you faster than obscurity ever could. Learn to withdraw at the height of your impact, not after it fades. Withdraw when the applause is still loud, when the eyes are still fixed on you, when the air still carries the electricity of your presence. In this way, you will ensure that they are left with an image of you at your strongest, an image they will carry and long to see again. And as they wait for your return, their anticipation will make you grow larger in their minds than you ever could in constant sight. Power, influence, and desire are never accidents. They are crafted with precision, shaped by discipline, and sustained by control. The 5 laws of scarcity are not tricks. They are principles of human nature that have remained unchanged for centuries. By vanishing to increase your value, offering less than they expect, making them earn your attention, becoming a mystery they cannot solve, and controlling the rhythm of your presence, you position yourself as someone who cannot be ignored, replaced, or forgotten. When you are scarce, you are valuable. When you are valuable, you are desired. And when you are desired, you hold power over those who seek you. The world chases what it cannot have in abundance. And if you can master the art of being rare yet unforgettable, you will live in the minds of others long after you have left the room. This is how you make people obsessed with you. Not through force, not through constant effort, but by mastering absence as carefully as you master presence. In this balance lies the true Machiavellian path to irresistible power.